Hello class, good morning. I was just sitting here with my tea and reading this cookbook my mom sent me, Unicorn Food. In it is filled with tons of recipes all about unicorns or rainbows, and you know that rainbow is my favorite color. But I think I found the perfect recipe for us to try today, rainbow waffles. Let's go make them together. Hey guys, we are ready to make our rainbow waffles. Now, I put on my apron, trusted apron, and I also have my glasses so that I can read the recipe. Plus, I washed my hands. Always make sure before baking or cooking that you wash your hands thoroughly so you are ready to go. Now I put all of my ingredients out on the table so you can follow along with me. The first step, it says 2 cups flour. So I'm gonna get my measuring cup. Now I know this is 1 cup because it says right here on the handle. We've talked about the capacity of cups. So this cup, this measuring cup, has a 1 cup capacity. So I'm gonna dip it into my flour. And before you put it in, you're gonna take your finger and you're gonna level it so the flour is the same as the top of the cup. I'm gonna do it in the bag so I don't make a mess. And I'm gonna pour this into my flour sifter. If you don't have a flour sifter, that's okay. You don't have to have one. Flour sifters just take out any of the chunks that are in your flour. So I'm gonna level it again with my finger so that you don't have any lumps inside of your waffle. Okay, now that we have our 2 cups flour, it says 2 tablespoons sugar. A tablespoon looks like this. It's not the same as the spoon you eat your cereal with. A measuring tablespoon is a different size. So I'm gonna come over here to my sugar, and I'm gonna do the same thing with my flour. I'm gonna take my finger and just scrape it on the top so that they are the same height. So that's 1 and 2. I'm gonna pour that in. Next up is 2 teaspoons baking powder. This one is a teaspoon. You can fit 3 teaspoons inside of a tablespoon. We're gonna go over here to our baking powder, which is not the same as baking soda. I get them mixed up all the time, and my recipes don't turn out when I do that. So I'm gonna scoop this one. Okay, that's 1. And this one has a few more clumps, so you wanna make sure that when you mix it, you get out all of those clumps in there so you don't make your waffles clumpy. Okay, that was 2. We need 1 teaspoon baking soda. I can still use my same teaspoon, I just need 1 of them this time. Instead of using my finger, I just scrape it on the lid to make it the same. Okay, next up we need 1/2 of a teaspoon salt. You can use a 1 teaspoon and just fill it halfway, or you can use a different measuring spoon that's only 1/2 of the teaspoon. All right, now we are ready to mix it. Now watch guys, this is the best part. This flour sifter has a sip at the bottom that only lets little pieces through, so if it's too big of a chunk, it won't fit through. I'm gonna turn this handle and you'll watch the flour come out at the bottom and it will mix all of the ingredients. Now sometimes you'll see that there might be something left still in there, so I'm just gonna take my spatula and I'm gonna press down to try and break up those last few chunks. That way you get all of your ingredients mixed in together. Okay, give it an extra tap just to be sure. And now our flour and all of the dry ingredients are sifted together. So now we can come over here and we can mix the wet ingredients. So first, let's see. It says combine the buttermilk, vanilla, butter, and eggs. Okay, so buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk at home, you can just use regular milk, or you could use 1 tablespoon of vinegar to mix with regular milk to give it the same taste. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up my buttermilk. And this says that I need 2 cups. So using the same measuring cup I did with the flour, And here's 2. I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in. Now the buttermilk is the first wet ingredient. We still have to add all of our others. So after buttermilk is 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. And I'm gonna go back and use my measuring teaspoon that has the 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna pour it, and then place that in there. Next up is 1/2 cup unsalted butter. 1/2 cup is a whole stick that you can put in there. It also gives you the measurements on the side, and it says 1/2 cup. So if you're looking on your butter, you can see how much you need to put in. So it's gonna be the whole stick. I already melted mine and have it ready here, so I'm just gonna pour this in and use my spatula to get out all of the extra. Okay, after that, I need 2 large eggs. I'm gonna crack them in. That's 1. Put that off to the side. And here is 2. Now this is fun because they're always gooey and you always get some on your fingers, no matter how hard you try. That's all for our wet, so I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this in. It's gonna be a little bit lumpy at first, that's okay. You wanna make sure that you mix all of your egg yolks so that they're not whole and round still, that they're broken apart and mixed in. Keep stirring. When you're cooking or baking, it's important that you follow the recipe in your cookbook. If you don't, your recipe might not turn out and the food you eat won't taste as good. So I'm always following the steps and making sure that I'm paying attention to what my cookbook says. So after I've made all of my wet ingredients, it says add the flour and mix until just combined. So we don't need to stir it a lot, just a little bit to make it all together. So I'm gonna pour this inside. Hopefully I won't spill too much. There we go. And we're gonna mix it up. Ooh, this looks really good. We're gonna make some delicious waffles. That should be good. Now comes the fun part. We get to put this batter into all of our bowls that we have, and then we get to add the food dye. So I tried to get bowls in the same color so I won't get them mixed up too much. So this one's actually gonna be our purple. I didn't have a purple bowl. This will be our blue. We're gonna have our green, our yellow, our red, and our orange. I'm gonna go ahead and pour the batter in and then mix it up for each color. I don't have an orange, so what I'm gonna try first is I'm gonna do a couple drops of red, and then I am going to add some yellow. Mixing red and yellow together will make it turn orange because I don't have an orange food dye. And I'm just starting with a few drops at first because we can always add more if it's not bright enough. But if you add too much, you can't take away the food color, it's already mixed in. So start with just a couple drops and then you can always add more if you would like to. It worked. The primary colors that are on the color wheel are red, yellow, and blue. Using these colors, you can color mix and make your own blends. So you saw that I made orange by mixing my red and my yellow, but you can also make other colors depending on how you mix them. So if you wanted to make purple, you could do red and blue and put them together to make a purple color. So using the colors at home, try different colors and mix them together to create your own shades. The next step is going to be making our waffles. Definitely have an adult with you because we have to go over and use the stovetop and it's very hot. So this step will have to be with an adult, but you can watch and join in. Hey guys, we are here at the stove. Now, as I said, make sure you have an adult do this part. This is a very hot stove with an open flame. So I put my waffle iron because this is what I'm going to be using. You might have an electric one that plugs into the wall, or you can also cook these in a pan and just make them pancakes. I've heated up my waffle iron to make sure that it's ready, and I'm going to turn it down just a little bit so it doesn't burn our waffles. When you open it up, it's going to smoke a little because it's burning off the oils from the last time that I cooked. So before I get ready, I'm always going to have some cooking spray so that I can spray it. After I spray the cooking spray, I'm going to do 1 scoop of every color, and then I'm going to close the cooking iron and let it cook. So I'm going to go ahead and spray down my waffle. This is so nothing will get stuck on it. Now that I have all of those colors in, I'm going to close it. We'll let it cook for about a minute or 2, and then we'll check on it to see if it's ready to flip. I went ahead and flipped it. And I feel like I can smell it burning a little bit. I think my pan was too hot. So I turned on my fan because there's lots of the grease and the oil burning off from my spray. But I went ahead and flipped it. We'll give it just another minute and then we'll check to see if it's ready. I definitely burned it. Let's check the other side to see if it's better. Is so much better. Okay, so if you leave it on there too long, it's going to burn and turn brown or black like mine did. But on the other side, I made sure I didn't cook it as long. But I think I could use 1 more minute, maybe 30 seconds, not a whole minute because I burned it the first time. Okay, I think I can turn my fan off now. So it's not smoking as much. My pan was too hot, and when things are too hot, they burn, and you get black or brown waffles like I did. But now, we have the perfect waffle! So I'm going to use my fork, not my fingers, except to grab the waffle. So I just scoop it up like that, and I put my fork underneath, and I'm going to put it over here on a plate so it's ready. Let's try another one and see if I can not burn it this time. Sometimes you get little pieces that are stuck in there. Just take that out and you can put it in the trash later. We're going to spray this again so it doesn't get stuck. Okay, round 2. Here we go, guys. I can do this. I'm going to try and do it red over here. And do some orange right here. Remember, this is the part that an adult is doing. You are not doing this because you will get burnt and it will not feel good. All right, last up is too long, it got burned and brown, as you can see on this side. This is what we want it to look like. So I'm not gonna cook it as long. If you peek in there, you can see it rising a little. I think it's time to flip. Go ahead and flip it. Aha! We didn't burn it this time. Although it needs just another minute on the other side. Beautiful! Look at that perfect waffle, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and move this to my plate. I'm gonna keep making waffles until I have used up all of my batter. And if you want, you can save your waffles for next time by freezing them inside of your freezer. So you don't have to cook all of your waffles at once. Guys, I'm getting better. Practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the better you get. That's what I always say in class, and it's true. Now you can also tell if the waffle is ready before opening it. If you just tug on the handle a little bit, it will pull. And if it pulls too much, that means that it's still sticky and the batter hasn't cooked. It's still wet, so you need to leave it in there. If it just releases, then you know that your waffle is ready. I'm gonna leave that for just another minute. As I'm cooking my last one, the rest of these waffles are ready to eat. So I'm gonna give them to Mr. Whithelm so we can get started with his breakfast. Over here, I put the toppings that I like to eat and Mr. Whithelm likes too. We have our maple syrup, we have jam, you could have it with sunflower or nut butter, and of course you can slice up some fresh fruit. I hope you enjoyed our video, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, love you guys.